Well, good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining us here at Britton, or me in my house representing Britton. Can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear? Okay, great. I am recording this part of it, and hopefully I'm sharing my screen with you. Do you see the slide that I have sharing? Okay, awesome. So my hope is to just go through slides like I did last time, and then I will unmute everybody and answer any questions or receive feedback as needed. So we have, looks like we have maybe 17 participants right now, which is lovely. And then I'm looking right now, I'm making sure that we are all muted. We are, except Nancy. I think Nancy's unmuted because she's going to be helping manage the chat. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat and we will definitely get to it at the end, or we can talk at the end as well. All right, let's see if I can make this work. There we go. All right, so best etiquette for Zoom is keep yourself muted unless you're talking. That way the background noise doesn't interact with others. I'm happy to answer or have a conversation and answer questions at the end. And please feel free to use the chat function if you have questions that just at some point you'd like answered. So one question that I keep getting, and same question we had last time when we were together, is when are we coming back to school? At this point, we are coming back to school in August. We are following the governor and Santa Clara County Office of Ed's guidelines. However, as you may have heard if you've been paying attention to the national seed and the state, there may be some version of a modified start back to school back in August or for the following year. We have no idea what that looks like. That's kind of the extent of the information that was thrown out on Tuesday by the governor. So as the months progress, I'm sure we will have more understanding of what that means for us. But as of now, we are planning on being back in August until we hear more information. And at that point, we, like I said, communicate with you. This is our schedule starting Monday. So we had a modified schedule this week because we didn't have school on Monday. So now, starting Monday, what we will be doing is we will be doing the periods 1, 3, and 5 on Mondays and Wednesdays, periods 2, 4, and 6 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Fridays, the goal of Fridays is to allow teachers to work with smaller groups of students who are struggling with whether or not it's the technology or the content. So smaller groups can be pulled throughout the day. It also gives your students, your children, an opportunity to finish and submit all of their work, which will be due on Fridays each week. So some teachers might ask for kids to be turning in work more frequently. That's just their way of trying to help kids time manage a little bit better. But the reality is we're asking for work to be turned in by Fridays. And we also recognize that family situations are very unique right now, and sometimes Fridays don't work. So we will, don't tell your kids this, but we will accept work whenever. But we are trying our best to give them a structure so they know what to follow and what to expect so no one gets too far behind. So officially this week, flexible learning is in session. Participation matters. So we are not taking attendance like we typically do at school when we're actually physically there, but we are taking attendance in the way of we are tracking participation and we are tracking whether or not students are completing work. So if you have children or your neighbors who happen to have students going to Britton have children who are not doing work, we're asking the teachers to log that information. And starting next week, we're going to start pushing out phone calls to families to see, number one, did you know school's in session if no work is being done or no participation is happening? Did you know school's in session? Do you have internet? Do you have any problems that you need us to support you with? And then, you know, what can we do to make sure your child is still working? So that's something that be prepared that we are going to start pushing out that. We're trying to do a very high level of support during this time because we recognize this is completely different. It's different for us as well. And I think the most important thing is we recognize flexibility is the name of the game. So participation and work submission is something we're going to be trying to help our students with. But we also know that we just have to be flexible, and we know you have to be flexible as we're all figuring out this new way of moving forward together. So what is being assigned to my child? Everybody should have been, every parent, at least one parent per household, should have been invited to be a parent within your children's Google Classrooms. If you did not receive that, we pushed it out to the main parent, the primary parent, listed in Aries, so that email address. So you can search your Gmail or whatever you have to see if there was a Google invite sent out to you. If you do not have it, reach out to one of your teachers and request that they send you an invite, and they can do that through their portal and it pushes it out to you. You have to accept the invitation though. It doesn't automatically join you into Google Classroom. You'll have to accept that invitation as a parent. So if you did not receive that, or you feel or you may have missed it, reach out to one of your teachers, or Nancy Altman, assistant principal, or I can help you with that also. It's pretty easy for us to support you in that area. Also, on our Britton website, under distance learning, we will have the schedule listed. So it's actually already listed there. So if you are going about your day and you forget what the schedule is, you can go to our website at any time and see the schedule. So it'll be listed there for the rest of the year. So Google Classroom, if you're looking at your child's view of Google Classroom, the area that, as you're trying to navigate this new system, Google Classroom, if you're looking under, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I'm going to try to, you can see my mouse, okay, great. When you open Google Classroom, it defaults to stream. So you will see stream as your default. And so what you'll want to do is click on classwork. And when you click on classwork, you will see when the teacher posted the assignment and what the assignments are. And you're able to, now this is the teacher version, so you might not have as many tabs up here as we do, but you'll be able to see that classwork portion, and you will be able to track what your student, your child is supposed to be submitting during the week. And if you can see the calendar view as well, it shows you in a calendar view of when kids need to submit work. And for me, I go in and check my children, my own children, when I'm looking at their view. I say, did you submit that assignment? I don't believe you, show me. And they will show me their Google Classroom, and there's a little area that says submitted or unsubmit. So you can tell whether or not your child has submitted their work. So the question often is, how can I contact my teacher? Please know that if you email a teacher in the morning or partway through the day, there might be a little bit of a lag time with them replying. I've gotten a couple parents who are saying, who have reached out to me and said, the teacher has not responded to me quickly enough. I need this information now. And we are all feeling that urgency. I want to help support my child. But please remember that teachers are teaching during the school day. So they are replying to you. They might not be able to get to you until their office hours, but they will definitely do their best to get to you in a timely fashion. If there's an urgent question that you're unable to get answered, you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to Mrs. Altman. We are working all day long, and if we see those questions come up, we can do our best to help support. But if it's a teacher-specific question, we might reply and say the teacher will be with you as soon as possible.
And if the teacher doesn't respond within 24 hours, then you can please let us know.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're not getting a response from the teachers, please let us know, and we will absolutely reach out and make sure that that gets remedied. So what I did here on my screen is I just took a screenshot of what our website looks like. These are all the different tabs you can click on. If you want to communicate with the teachers, you can click on the Communicate with Teachers, and I have a letter that's written there, but it also has all of the teachers' remind codes and their email addresses listed within there. And so if you can definitely join Remind, so you can see what communication is going out to your children through Remind. Some teachers are using that very religiously. Other teachers are using it. Also make sure kids are checking their emails and that you are checking your emails as well. So the question then becomes, well, how do I contact my children's counselors? Here's the good news. I just added a new tab on our website called Communicate with Counselors. And it has all of their phone numbers. Everyone has a Google phone number that parents now can text or call, and they will get back to you as they can. They also have email addresses that you can reach out, and each of the counselors are going to have a Zoom session several times a week where you can just pop in and actually have a Zoom conversation with them. So that is all listed underneath the Communicate with Counselors. So please note, I do have their phone numbers right here on the screen, but if you don't want to write it down right now, just go to the Britton website and you will be able to receive their phone numbers that way as well. It's nice for us, especially at home. You can text through this, which is a wonderful added function. So also Mrs. Altman and I added on Google phone numbers as well. So you can text or call us as well. I'll do my best to answer. I can't answer all day long, but we will get back to you when we can. It's in lieu of having an office phone. This is what we're doing. So if you want to text a question to us because you feel like you want the answer faster than an email, that's perfectly fine, and we'll reply the best we can. Our email addresses are also, my arrow is in the wrong spot. Summer. Arrow is supposed to be under communicate with teachers here. So, our information, if you want to find our Google phone number or our email addresses, it's under the communicate with teachers section. So if you're like, now what was their phone number again? Go click on communicate with teachers. And here, I'm going to escape out of here so you can see my website view. So if you're here on our website and you go to communicate with teachers, and then you scroll down, you will see we have just a grid here with all of the teachers' remind codes and their email addresses. But at the very top, you will see that you have our phone numbers, and Mrs. Altman's phone number here too, and also our email addresses. So we have it listed in a couple different places for you to hopefully help with convenience. Okay, so continuing, we are checking our office phone. So if you need help from our front office staff, you absolutely can call 408-201-6160. And for Spanish speaking families, you push 3 after that to leave a Spanish message. We are checking that. We are getting back to you. Our front office staff is the best staff I've ever had or ever known at any school site. So we are working really hard. They are having daily meetings, strategizing how we can best support the teachers and how they can best support you and communicate. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have anything that you need from our front office staff as well. Email is a great way. We are all checking our emails every day, frequently. Every week we are pushing out a Friday newsletter. If you are not receiving that newsletter, please check your settings to see if you have it going to junk mail. If you still cannot find it, reach out to Sherry Valcarcel, who's our registrar, or Tanisha Santos, and they can help you make sure that we have the correct email address on file so you're receiving those Friday newsletters. Also, our website has pretty static information, but I'm doing my best to update it with things that you need to just go, like a parking lot where you can go find information. And I try to put some fun stuff on Britton Facebook page a couple times a week. I'm pushing out our Britton TVs, which typically come out on Mondays, through that as well. So now's the time where I also want to point out that Alba put in the chat that our cookie dough fundraiser has been canceled, which is also being communicated through our Friday newsletter, and all orders will be returned. We are working on a safe plan on how to handle the returns. Information will be out in the newsletter going today. So if you have questions about basics like that, you certainly can reach out. I'm going to...
And another question was about PE locker contents and how and when we'll be doing that, which will probably, if there's something that is critical, let us know and we can make arrangements. Otherwise, it'll probably be when we have the return, once we figure that out, because we'll need the Chromebooks and textbooks back.
So one parent asked, is the invite the daily summary for Google Classroom? The answer is yes. So if you're getting a daily summary, that means you have been added to the Google Classroom and accepted your invite. So at this point, you can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question out loud, or you can type it in the text box and we can respond back. So are yearbooks still being sold? Nancy, do you know the answer?
Yes.
As of today?
I think they're still being sold.
Okay. So
and it's on the website.
On the website.
I'll go to the website and take a look.
And also, we should be receiving that information through the weekly newsletter. Are there other questions or feedback or some thoughts that you would like us to think about? Can we still submit an 8th grade baby picture for the yearbook? I have had a couple parents reach out to me on that one. That goes through, and how about this? We will address that in the newsletter today. Flora is replying right now. No, they cannot. So, okay, so at this point, the baby pictures have been stopped. So no more baby pictures can be submitted at this point. Thank you, Flora, for helping me with that. Other questions? Any support that's needed? If there's specific needs that your family has or your children are having, or if there's problems with the Chromebooks, which we expect there to be, they're older Chromebooks, and so we anticipate problems to happen, you can reach out to Krista Dutra. She is really helping with all of the technology component of it. If it's something simple, we can fix it at Britton. If it's something a little bit more difficult, we might refer you to Morgan Hill's tech helpline, but we try to solve some of the basic ones first. So Krista can help you with that. If you don't know her information, like I said, you can always reach out to Nancy or to me, and we can refer you to who you need support from. I have a couple questions here. When will we get yearbooks? So one of the who do we contact the yearbook person to find out if I already bought one? I don't know the answer to that, Kelly. I think it's Jim Green, if I remember correctly. I'm going to have to get back to you. Maybe we can put that out on
Yeah, I think Jim has a spreadsheet, but we'll have to, because I don't see the store working either right now.
And the question about when we are going to get the yearbooks, that's one of those frustrating moments. We don't know. Right now, production has been paused, right? All non-essential work across most of this, across the state and much throughout the country has been paused. So there is a little bit of a question of when it's going to come into us. Once we have clearer information on that, we will definitely reach out and let you know. It very likely won't be by the end of this school year, but probably sometime during the summer. So as a parent on Google Classroom, the question is, will you have the same view as your children? The answer is no. You don't have the same view or access as your children do on Google Classroom as a parent. You get the weekly summaries. I believe you can check the calendars. If you want to see what your child is doing specific to their account, you're going to have to ask them to log in, and so you can take a look at it as your child. And your children can show you how to submit. It's still new, and this week there have definitely been some hiccups with it for kids who have not used it in the past. That's okay. That's all part of the learning curve. We recognize it's going to happen. But if you want to see the child view, you're going to have your own child log in so you can view it.
Hi, this is Tracy. Can you hear me?
Hi, Tracy. I can hear you.
Okay, this is Tracy Christensen. I found the email, so thank you for making us aware. But when I clicked accept, all I got back was, do you want a weekly status? It didn't really log me into anything.
So I think the answer would probably be yes, I want a weekly status. And that's that part that comes out to you.
Right.
It is a modified view as a parent. Like I said, in order to get a very detailed view, you're going to have to ask your child to open up their computer and log in so you can take a peek.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So the question was, who is the sender for your invite? It would be, I think if you search Google Classroom, you should be able to find it that way.
I'll send her one right now.
Okay. And Kim, Nancy's going to re-invite you right now.
It's muted. They can't hear you.
When should we start getting weekly statuses? I accepted when I first came out, and I have not received a weekly summary yet. So if you're not receiving a weekly summary, please feel free to shoot an email to Nancy or to me or to the teacher, and we can just actually Nancy or I can help you with that pretty quickly, and we can just make sure your email address is in there.
Kim, what grade is your child?
Is it Kim?
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Okay. And so Rachel, can you just shoot an email to us regarding Google Classroom, and we can, one of us can help make sure that you have it. It's possible we only have one email address in there, so it might only be one parent receiving the updates. We can add more parents in, though. We're happy to do that. Are there any other questions? So David says he wants to say thank you to everyone at BMS for doing such an awesome job under difficult circumstances. Thank you for that. I will absolutely pass it along. I have said it from the beginning. We have the very best staff, and the level of attention that so many of our teachers are putting into this and willingness to adapt and try new things has just been beyond exciting. And our front office staff has just been doing such a wonderful job as well. So I will definitely pass on your gratitude to our staff. Thank you. Again, we are doing our best to be pretty responsive to you and make sure that we're getting back to you in a timely manner. If teachers are not getting back to you in a reasonable amount of time, just let us know. But I have been finding that most of the feedback I've gotten from the parents, our teachers are doing a pretty good job of replying as quickly as they possibly can. So we hope that that continues. And if you have any more support that's needed, we are more than happy to reach out and kind of adapt and adjust in that way as well. I'm thinking we'll probably have another parent coffee in a couple weeks just to check in. We will push out that invite at that time. I appreciate seeing your faces. It's nice to see you guys. I hang in there. I'm a mom too, so this is a whole new ball game of trying to work and manage kids and get all 17 Zoom codes logged in at the same time. I know it's been challenging, and we appreciate the work that you're doing too. It's just been a whirlwind for everybody. And at my house, it feels a little bit like Groundhog's Day every single day. It's rinse and repeat the same thing every day. So it's we're doing our best too, and I see some smiles out there, so it looks like you guys are feeling it as well. So I thank you for all the work you're putting into this to help your kids learn a new way of doing school. I'm taking a peek on the chat to see if there's any more questions that are coming through. Okay.
And Kim, you should be receiving it now.
Are there any final questions that you might have that before I stop the chat? Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend. And again, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything.